Have you ever wondered why Japanese houses convey so much peace just to look at? Why do they always seem so clean, organized, and with light energy, almost like a real sanctuary? If I told you that this is not just due to decoration, but what they choose not to have indoors. In this video, you will discover the 12 objects that the Japanese avoid maintaining at home, and how simple choices directly impact the sense of well-being, mental clarity, and harmony of the environment. It sounds simple, but what you keep around you may be stealing your peace, sucking your energy, and preventing your home from becoming that quiet refuge you want so much. Best of all, you can start changing it today just by looking more carefully at the items around you. Some of these objects are so common in our daily lives that you can't imagine how much they are weighing in your environment. At the end of this video, you will understand why giving up certain things can be even more powerful than accumulating. You will find out what is blocking the flow of your home and your life. And when we arrive at item number 9, you could be surprised by the impact it has on your emotional state without you realizing. Prepared to make your home lighter, cleaner, and more Japanese. Have you ever entered a house and felt that good feeling, as if the air were lighter? Now, think about how many times have you felt it in your own home. If the answer is rarely or never, you are not alone. Most people live surrounded by objects that they do not realize how much they weigh in everyday life. Things that hinder cleaning, block energy, and gradually create a mentally polluted environment. Sometimes you even try to get everything organized, but something always looks out of place. The truth is, it's not just a mess. This is what is present in your home. The Japanese are masters in creating peaceful and balanced environments, and this is not just from minimalist aesthetics. It comes from a silent wisdom to know how to give up, know what to maintain, and especially what to let go. In this video, I will show you 12 objects that the Japanese avoid having at home and how these choices can completely transform the energy of your home. It's not about following an extreme lifestyle or throwing it all away, but learning to see what really contributes to your peace. Most importantly, you don't have to spend money or make great reforms. This transformation starts with what you decide to remove, with small changes that bring great relief. Throughout the video, you will see how each object of your home tells a story, and perhaps it's time to rewrite this story to create an environment that is not only beautiful, but it welcomes you, calms you down, and helps you live better. Are you ready to know the 12 items that are hindering the harmony of your home and how you can eliminate them? Number 1. Yellowish plastics. The aging of energy, it may seem like an exaggeration, but did you know that yellowish or faded plastic objects are true energy thieves in a house? The Japanese avoid maintaining this type of item at home, and it's not just for aesthetics. There is a principle behind it. What is visually aged conveys a sense of wear to the brain. Now think of those old plastic bowls, the lids that no longer close, the parts of the refrigerator or microwave that have lost their original color. These items pass a subliminal message that something is old, spent, and sloppy. Worse, the more you live with it, the more normal it becomes in your eyes, and the more you get used to an energy that doesn't do you good. In Japanese culture, objects that are not in good condition should be discarded with respect. There is even a ritual called puyo, where the object is thanked for its time of service before letting it go. This shows how there is a symbolic value in keeping around only what still has life, color, and function. What you can do is simple. Open your cabinets and note the kitchen items, organizing boxes, pots, utensils, etc. Whatever is yellowish, deformed, or stained should be recycled or replaced. You don't have to change everything at once, but you can start with what most visually bothers you. The impact of this change is immediate. When removing these objects, the house seems to breathe better. Cleaning seems easier. The environment gains freshness, and especially your mind feels lighter. You look around and feel that everything is more careful, younger, more alive. Number 2. Clothes we don't wear. The invisible mess. You open the wardrobe and think, I have nothing to wear, but at the same time, it is packed. Stacked clothes, tight hangers, pieces that you haven't worn for years. Does this look familiar? For the Japanese, this type of accumulation is more than disorganization. It is a form of emotional pollution. Clothes carry energy. Each piece has a story, a phase of your life. When you keep something you no longer use in the closet, either because it doesn't fit, it's out of fashion, or just no longer suits who you are in practice keeping an old version of yourself. That weighs on you. In Japan, the concept of releasing space is treated with respect. Marie Kondo, for example, popularized this idea worldwide with the question, "Does it bring me joy?" But this thought had been part of Japanese culture for a long time. For them, less is more, especially when it comes to energy and balance. Want to apply this in practice? Separate a time just to watch your clothes. No need to start by bending or taking everything out of the place. Just look, feel, see what still makes sense to be there. A piece you haven't used for over a year. Why are you still keeping it? It's taking up space, wasting energy, and preventing new possibilities. New clothes, new versions of you will arrive. Make the screening with love. You don't have to get rid of everything at once, but be honest with yourself. Donate, sell, or recycle. The important thing is to let go. The result is almost immediate. A lighter wardrobe gives you mental clarity. Choosing what to wear becomes faster, more enjoyable, and more than that, your self-esteem changes. Because now, when opening the doors of your closet, you only find real and fresh versions of who you are today, and that is liberating. Number 3, accumulated paperwork. The weight of the past, old letters, accounts paid from years ago, overdue bank statements, appliance manuals that no longer work. You know what I'm talking about, right? That stack of slowly growing papers, often hidden in a drawer or a forgotten folder in the corner. For the Japanese, this is a subtle but powerful form of letting the past master the present. Paper accumulation is one of the great villains of standing energy. It's not just about physical mess, it's about what it represents. Each forgotten paper, each unnecessary document, carries a stagnation vibration. It is as if parts of your life were there, trapped, with no room for the new to enter. In Japanese culture, there is a strong appreciation of the present moment. The now is what matters. Storing what no longer has a practical function, especially in excess, is considered a block for home fluidity. Therefore, they avoid maintaining papers that have no immediate use or that have already fulfilled their purpose. The practical application is simple and transformative. Choose a moment of silence, fill your document drawers, and start screening. Separate what really needs to be kept: current contracts, important documents, essential proof, and discard the rest with conscience. Recycle whatever is possible. If something brings doubt, ask yourself, will this serve me in a practical way in the coming months? If not, release it. You will notice something curious when cleaning the papers. Your mind looks like it is also organized. It's as if you regain control and resume the reins. That hidden anxiety, which you didn't even know where it came from, begins to relieve. This is because you take the weight of what has passed and make room for what is to come. Less paper equals more lightness. And believe me, this little gesture can be the first step toward major changes in your life, starting with peace in your own space. Number 4. Time pass. Broken items. The energy of almost. Have you noticed how we get used to certain broken things at home? A loose handle, a light fixture that doesn't work, a chair downstairs, a cracked mirror. We look, think, I'll solve it, and stay there. Days, weeks, sometimes years. The problem is that each broken object carries a very specific energy type, the energy of what is incomplete. In Japanese philosophy, a broken object is a symbol of an interrupted cycle, and keeping it indoors is like accepting small, permanent failures in your daily life. It may seem exaggerated, But think about it. If by opening a door you need to push because the doorknob is not working properly, it affects your mood. If a shot is burned, you avoid using it. Gradually, these adaptations become routine, and your home, which should function as a harmonious system, now demands effort where it should welcome you. Japan profoundly values the harmony of the environment. The idea is that everything present in the home contributes to well-being. Therefore, broken objects are quickly repaired, or if they no longer serve a purpose, they are removed with respect. The famous kintsugi, for example, is a technique that turns cracked pieces into something beautiful, but always with the intention of restoring, never to ignore. In practice, look around your house right now. What is broken, hanging, or damaged? Make a simple list. You don't have to fix everything today, but set a plan. 1 per week is enough. Or, if that object no longer makes sense to you, discard it. The benefits are immediate. You will start to feel your home more fluid. Things work as they should, and this brings a sense of autonomy and order. It is almost as if you are fixing small pieces of your routine. And most importantly, you break free from the energy of the almost working, almost ready, almost good cycle, and start to live in an environment where everything is, in fact, whole. Number 5. Tikmon. Meaningless objects, empty decoration. Do you know that picture you put on the wall just because the space was empty? Or that vase you got as a gift and never liked very much, but left there out of obligation? For the Japanese, keeping objects that do not have a clear emotional or symbolic purpose is the same as letting the energy of the house spread without direction. In Japanese aesthetics, everything that is present in an environment must have intention. Even what seems simple or empty is there for a reason. They follow the concept of ma, which values the space between things. This means that it is not necessary to fill every corner. On the contrary, void also has its function and should only be filled with something that brings meaning. Keeping meaningless items is like listening to constant background noise. You don't realize where it comes from, but it's there, gradually wearing you down. The decoration of your home does not need to be loaded with things. It needs to be loaded with meaning, stories, and beauty that speak to your heart. So, here's the practical exercise. Look at the decorative objects around you one by one. Do they really represent you? Do they bring good memories? Are you aligned with the energy you want to feel in your home? If the answer is no, thank them and let them go. Donate, transfer, transform, but don't keep what doesn't communicate anything with you. The effect of this change is deep. Suddenly, your house begins to tell your story. Each corner gives you something that connects you, and with that comes a sense of belonging, of true welcome. You feel at home because everything there finally makes sense with who you are. And the most curious part? When you take what's there just because it is, the environment breathes, the look rests, and you rediscover the value of a living house. It's not just beautiful, it's authentic. Number 6. Shoes indoors. The power of the street does not enter if you have a deeply rooted habit. In Japanese culture, it's this: never enter the home with street shoes. It goes far beyond hygiene. It is a true symbolic barrier between the outer chaotic, dirty, accelerated world and the sacred space of home. For them, the house is where the soul rests, and everything that comes from the outside must be left outside, including the energy that the shoes carry. Think about it. Your shoes go through all kinds of environments: sidewalks, public toilets, places with dense energy, streets full of hurry and stress. All of this is absorbed, not only physically with visible dirt, but also energetically. Upon entering these shoes into your house, you are unknowingly bringing together all this load that does not belong to your rest space. The Japanese have an area called genkan, right at the entrance of the house, where the shoes are taken off and stored. Only then, with their own slippers, do they step inside. This simple practice transforms the way the house is lived. It begins to be perceived as a refuge, a protected space, and the body, when changing footwear, understands that it is time to relax, to be present. How to apply this to your home? Create a small space right at the entrance to leave the shoes. It can be a low shoe rack, a basket, or even a carpet with a tray. The important thing is to establish the habit of, upon entering, leaving the shoes at the door. Preferably use a clean and exclusive slipper for the interior of the house. You will notice, over time, how this gesture changes the mood of the environment. The floor is cleaner, the air lighter, and your body understands that there is a rest territory. Not to mention that it avoids the circulation of invisible dirt, bacteria, and toxins from the outside world. It is a ritual of protection and respecting your own home. And the most beautiful part, this also helps reinforce healthy limits. A house is not a continuation of the street. It is the opposite. This is where you reconnect with yourself, and each time you take off your shoes upon entering, you are symbolically leaving your problems outside as well. Number 7. Tandoy. Exposed cables and wires. The invisible chaos. Have you ever noticed how a simple view of wrapped wires or loose cables can cause a certain discomfort, even if unconscious? Cables with exposed extensions, holders, or wires behind the TV, computer, or that electronic printer in the corner of the house. For the Japanese, this is more than just aesthetic disorganization. It is a type of visual pollution that affects the sense of order and peace. The energy of the environment is directly influenced by the way objects present themselves. When the eyes find chaos, the brain interprets it as a warning sign of confusion. This happens even with things that have already become normal in our daily lives, like wires or cords passing all over the place. They create a constant visual noise, which undermines the tranquility of space, especially in places where we want to rest, such as the bedroom or the living room. In the Japanese style of living, everything has a place, including the invisible wires. They are hidden, organized, or eliminated. There's a conscious effort to maintain harmony with the small details, because these added details create the whole, and the whole needs to flow. In practice, you can start with what jumps the most in your eyes. See where the most apparent wires are. You can use simple organizers, Velcro ribbons, adhesive channels, or even small boxes to hide outlets and extensions. If possible, avoid having many devices plugged in at the same time at one point. If something is not being used frequently, like an old charger, keep it. Take a visual break for the house to breathe. The result of this change is subtle, but transformative. The environment looks cleaner, more modern, lighter, and you feel more centered, less distracted. It is impressive how a corner with fewer cords conveys more peace. Your eyes rest, your mind calms down, and your home finally ceases to look like a work environment and is, in fact, a place of refuge. Number 8. Dead or artificial plants. Standing nature plants bring life into the house. They purify the air, balance moisture, beautify the environment, and more than anything, carry a constant renewal energy. But when does this energy break? When the plant dries, withers, dies, or worse, when it's artificial. In Japanese culture, having dead or artificial plants indoors is like simulating a connection with nature without actually living the experience. Worse, keeping a dead plant in the environment is maintaining stagnant energy associated with the end of a cycle that has never been properly closed. What should represent vitality now symbolizes abandonment, sadness, and blockage. In practice, this happens all the time. A plant starts to dry, and you don't want to throw it away because you still hope it will recover. It stays there, forgotten in a corner, taking up space and spreading the energy of what it has already been. With artificial plants, the effect is different, but equally harmful to energy flow. They do not breathe, do not grow, and do not interact. They are just imitations of life, and, therefore, do not bring any kind of true renewal to the space. In Japan, there's a deep respect for nature. When you take a plant into the house, it is cared for with intention, almost like a family member. If a plant dies, it is thanked, and the space is cleaned so that the energy can be renewed. Artificial plants are rarely used, and when they are, they have a very specific decorative function without taking the place of living plants. Want to apply this at your home? Take a tour of your green space. Check the state of your plants. Wipe the leaves. Change the pots if necessary. And if you have any plants that no longer have life, release them with love. Replace them with new ones, or even leave that empty space for a while. If you have a lot of artificial plants, rethink. Do they really bring beauty and lightness to the environment? Or are they just filling a space by habit? The difference it makes is surprising. A healthy plant changes the climate of an entire room, whereas a dead or plastic plant only occupies space and prevents the true energy of nature from flowing through your home. Number 9. Objects linked to the painful past. The silent sadness. Everyone has that box at the bottom of the old drawer with old letters, photos of a relationship that ended badly, memories of a loved one who passed away, or even objects you earned in difficult times in life. Sometimes they are there because you don't know what to do with them. Other times, they are attached. But the fact is, keeping objects that connect you to a painful past is like leaving an open wound inside your home. The Japanese treat home as a sacred space, a place where the spirit must rest, renew itself, and find peace. So, everything that inhabits this space needs to contribute to this purpose. Storing objects that carry hurts, trauma, or losses is a subtle but constant way of reliving these emotions, even without realizing it. It's like having a gray cloud hovering in the environment, preventing the new from entering. Of course, there is respect for memories. It is not about erasing your story, but about learning to look at it with love. Shoes deserves to be maintained and, especially, what can already be released with gratitude. When you keep something just for fear of forgetting or guilt, it begins to weigh, and this weight accumulates in the form of anxiety, inexplicable sadness, and emotional tiredness. How to apply this in your life? Choose a moment of calm and open that drawer, that box, that forgotten corner. Go with an open heart. Look at each object and ask, does it still fit me? Does it bring me peace? Or hold me to something that has passed? You don't have to get rid of everything, but you can keep it differently. Turn it into something new, or even return it to the universe with respect. Sometimes burn a letter, bury a symbolic object, or donate something that was difficult. It is a true ritual of liberation, and when you do that, something changes. The environment brightens. Your chest feels relieved. Your house smiles, because it feels that you are ready to live the present and allow the future to reach light. This is perhaps the most powerful tip of all. Free the past to let your home and your life breathe again. Number 10. Dark and poorly lit environments. The block of clarity. Have you ever entered a dark, poorly lit room and felt a certain discouragement, as if the space were heavy, lifeless? Light plays a crucial role in how we perceive and feel the environment, and in Japanese culture, this is taken very seriously. Little light environments are seen as locked energy sites, places where life does not flow. Lighting for the Japanese is almost spiritual. Natural light is valued to the fullest. Light curtains, open windows, sunlight reflectors. Everything is planned to bring clarity inward. When this is not possible, gentle lights with warm tones, mimicking the light of dawn or dusk, moments of transition that symbolize balance, are used. Now think about your home. How many environments have little light? That dark laundry, the forgotten corridor, a room where the lamp has burned for weeks and never been changed, the kitchen with cold, almost clinical lighting. These details are not just technical, they shape your emotional state. What's more, dark environments tend to accumulate dirt, forgotten objects, and even odors. They are the type of space where life doesn't flow. The solution? Start by watching which environments you avoid because they are poorly lit. Change burnt-out lamps. Add a light. Invest in hot tones. Use curtains and mirrors to reflect natural light. If you can, reorganize the furniture to favor the entrance of sunlight. Small changes can completely transform the vibration of a room. The impact of this is deep. A well-lit environment also lightens the mind. You feel more disposed, more creative, more willing to be in that space. It's as if your house said, "Life happens here," and that feeling spreads. It starts in one corner and takes over the rest because when light enters, energy flows, and where there's flow, there's peace. Light your home, and you will actually be illuminating yourself. Number 11. Old or broken furniture? The energy drain. Do you have old, worn-out furniture in your home? A couch with sagging cushions, a table with chipped paint, or a chair that wobbles? It's easy to overlook these things, thinking that they're just part of your everyday life. But in the Japanese culture, keeping old or broken furniture is like carrying around emotional baggage. The Japanese believe that every object in your home holds energy. And when you hold on to things that are damaged or broken, you're inviting negative energy into your space. These worn-out items carry the energy of neglect and repair, and they subtly affect the atmosphere of your home. You may not realize it, but these objects contribute to a sense of disorder. They also keep you emotionally tied to past events, whether it's the memory of something that broke or the frustration of dealing with an uncomfortable chair. Instead of holding on to these objects, the Japanese culture emphasizes removing them and replacing them with items that are both functional and beautiful. In practice, walk through your home and identify any furniture or belongings that are broken or old. Do you really need that item, or could you replace it with something that fits better and enhances the space? You don't have to do it all at once, but as you gradually remove or replace the damaged items, you will feel the energy shift in your home. The result is immediate. Your home starts to feel fresher, more alive, and your mind is freed from the constant reminder of things that no longer serve you. This simple act of removing old furniture can lift the entire energy of the house. Number 12. Cluttered entryways. The first impression. Have you ever walked into a home with a cluttered entryway? Shoes scattered everywhere, coats draped across chairs, and bags piled up in the corner. The entryway sets the tone for the entire house, and when it's messy, it impacts your first impression of the space. The Japanese believe in the importance of the entryway as a symbol of the home's energy. The entryway is the first place you experience when you come home, and it should feel welcoming, clean, and organized. If the entryway is cluttered, it creates a feeling of chaos that will inevitably spread throughout the rest of the house. In Japanese culture, the entryway, or genkan, is treated with respect. Shoes are removed and stored neatly, and everything is kept in order. This simple practice creates a sense of calm as you transition from the outside world into your sanctuary. To apply this in your home, start by clearing the clutter in your entryway. Create designated spaces for shoes, coats, and bags. If possible, set up a small shoe rack or designated shelf where everything can be neatly stored. This will help establish a clean, organized entrance that will immediately give you a sense of peace and harmony every time you come home. A tidy entryway doesn't just create a good first impression. It helps set the tone for the rest of your home, creating an environment that feels more welcoming and in control.